In the heart of New York City, where the skyline glimmered with the promise of wealth and success, a man named Samuel Walker sat in his opulent office on the top floor of Central Park Tower. He was a millionaire, a titan of industry, yet his heart felt like an empty shell. The luxurious surroundings, a gold-plated pen, a crystal chandelier, and the gleam of his Rolex, were a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing within him. At 43, Samuel had built an empire, yet he was haunted by the ghosts of his past. His first wife, Sarah, had been the light of his life, and their daughter, Emily, had once filled their home with laughter. But all that changed when tragedy struck. Sarah died during childbirth, leaving Samuel with a newborn son, Michael, and a 6-year-old daughter who needed him more than ever. Instead of embracing his role as a father, he buried himself in work, avoiding the painful memories that lingered in the house they had shared. In his absence, Veronica, Sarah's close friend, stepped in as a surrogate mother. At first, her presence felt like a balm to his shattered life. She cared for Emily and Michael with a gentleness that seemed to ease his guilt. But as the months passed, Samuel began to notice unsettling changes. The laughter that once filled the house was replaced by silence, and the warmth of family life grew cold. One fateful day, after a month-long business trip, Samuel decided to return home early, hoping to surprise his children. As he drove through the familiar streets, a flicker of hope ignited within him. Maybe Emily would run into his arms, and Michael would smile at him with those innocent eyes. But as he entered his grand estate, the atmosphere felt different, eerily still. The golden glow of the chandelier illuminated the marble floor, but the warmth was absent. Setting down his briefcase, he was suddenly pierced by the faint sound of a child sobbing. It was Emily's voice, trembling with fear, pleading, "Please don't hurt me and my brother anymore." The words struck him like a thunderbolt, freezing him in place. His heart raced as he followed the sound down the hallway, stopping just outside the living room. What he saw made his blood run cold. Emily, her once bright pink dress now filthy and torn, huddled on the floor, clutching Michael tightly against her chest. The baby's face was red, tears streaming down his cheeks as he cried desperately. Standing over them was Veronica, her demeanor transformed from the nurturing figure he once admired to a menacing presence, her voice sharp and threatening. "Shut up. How many times have I told you not to bother me? If you don't listen, I'll throw both of you out on the street again," she barked, her words cutting through the air like glass. Samuel's instincts kicked in, and he rushed forward, placing himself between Veronica and his children. "Stop," he shouted, his voice hoarse but firm. "Let me hold him. Emily, come here to Daddy." Emily froze, her eyes wide with fear. For a moment, he hesitated, unsure if he could bridge the chasm that had formed between them. But then he saw it, the panic in her eyes, the way she clutched Michael as if he were her only lifeline. He stepped forward, reaching out for his son, feeling the weight of the world pressing down on him. "Let me hold him," he repeated, urgency creeping into his voice. "You're safe now. Daddy's here." Veronica's expression shifted, a flash of venom crossing her features before she masked it with a saccharine smile. "Oh, you're back. I was just teaching the kids some discipline. They were being too wild." Her words dripped with false sweetness, but Samuel could see through the facade. "I don't want to hear crying like that in this house," he said, his tone unwavering. "What did you do to them?" Veronica stepped closer, her voice lowering to a conspiratorial whisper. "You've been away too long, Samuel. You don't understand how children need to be raised. They need discipline. You can't let them run wild." Samuel's heart raced as he studied Emily's small frame, noticing the faint bruises on her wrist. The realization hit him like a punch to the gut. He had been blind to the suffering right under his nose. He had left his children in the care of a woman who wielded fear like a weapon. As the tension in the room thickened, Samuel felt a surge of anger and guilt. He had abandoned his role as a father, leaving his children vulnerable to the very person he had trusted to care for them. The weight of his neglect bore down on him, and he knew he had to act. "Emily, come here," he said softly, extending his arms. She hesitated for a moment before rushing into his embrace, burying her face in his shoulder. He held her tightly, feeling her small body tremble against him. Michael, still in Veronica's grip, reached out for his father, and Samuel quickly took him into his arms. "Daddy's here," he whispered, rocking Michael gently. The baby's cries began to subside as he felt the warmth of his father's presence. But the relief was short-lived. The reality of their situation loomed over them like a dark cloud. Veronica's voice cut through the moment. "You don't understand, Samuel. I'm doing what's best for them. You can't just waltz in here after being gone for weeks and expect everything to be fine." Samuel's anger flared. "You're not doing what's best for them. You're hurting them, and I won't let that continue." His voice was steady, but inside he was a storm of emotions. The confrontation escalated as Veronica's demeanor shifted from calm to defensive. "You think you can just take control? You have no idea what it's like to manage a household alone. You're not their mother." "No," he replied, his voice firm. "But I am their father. And I will protect them from anyone who tries to hurt them, including you." That night, as the children slept, Samuel sat in the living room, his mind racing. He replayed the events of the day, the fear in Emily's eyes, the sound of her sobs echoing in his mind. He couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. He needed to act quickly to ensure their safety. The following day, he met with Richard Coleman, a trusted family attorney. Richard listened intently as Samuel recounted the events, the threats, and the bruises. "We need to take immediate action," Richard said, his tone serious. "I'll help you file for emergency custody and protection orders. We can't let Veronica continue to have access to the children." Samuel nodded, determination flooding his veins. He understood that this fight would not be easy, but he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. He would not allow his children to suffer any longer. As the legal battle unfolded, Samuel found himself standing in the courtroom, the weight of his decision pressing heavily on his shoulders. He watched as Veronica sat across the room, her expression a mask of defiance. But he also saw the fear in her eyes, the realization that her grip on his family was slipping away. The judge listened intently as witnesses recounted their experiences. Emily took the stand, her small voice trembling as she spoke the truth about her fears and the bruises she had endured. Samuel's heart swelled with pride as he watched his daughter find her voice, breaking the silence that had held them captive for too long. In the end, the judge ruled in Samuel's favor, granting him full custody of Emily and Michael. As he walked out of the courtroom, he felt a wave of relief wash over him. He had fought for his children, and they were finally safe. Back at home, Samuel embraced Emily and Michael, holding them close. "You're safe now," he whispered, tears of joy streaming down his face. "I promise I will always protect you." In that moment, he understood the true meaning of family. It wasn't about wealth or success, it was about love, trust, and the unwavering commitment to stand by one another through the darkest of times. As they sat together in the garden, surrounded by the warmth of the sun and the laughter of children, Samuel knew that they had emerged from the shadows stronger than ever before. And so, the story of Samuel Walker and his children became a testament to the power of love and the strength of a father's resolve. No longer would they live in fear. Together, they would build a new life filled with hope, laughter, and the promise of brighter days ahead.